Alright, so this is going to be the introduction video to a series of videos that I'm going to make about the topic of pandas. Or panda, whatever, right? So today, after coming from seeing Aaron Mulish, my probation officer, I give him the update on what's going on as far as my mental health and all of this. Because I have certain court-ordered evaluations and things that I need to, like a drug and alcohol with a biopsychosocial evaluation that I'm supposed to be doing, right? But I go give him the rundown. I'm not recording or anything. Come back to the bus stop. I'm about to head to the casino since everything else is pretty much closed for President's Day. The gentleman, who's not even about to hop on the bus alongside me, comes to the bus stop. White man, of course, Caucasian. I hope he doesn't get hit in the head. Of course, you know me. I'm on point. I already know what he's talking about. But what does that have to do with pandas? So that reminded me of the other night when somebody in my room, one of the roommates, Terrence, who coincidentally also works at the Wind Creek, right? He likes to be passive aggressive and talk to himself and try to throw in his subliminals under the guise of a mental illness or whatever he's got going. And he's talking about Panda. You know what I'm saying? Oh, Panda, this, that, the third. You don't know what you're talking about. You better watch out. You know what I'm saying? You could be the next squeegee Luigi. Things along those lines. This is what he's saying to himself. Of course, again, I'm not recording. I don't record everything, like I said. I don't need to record everything. They still being passive aggressive and trying to send subs, right? But again, even though he mentioned Panda, what does that have to do with pandas? What is Panda, right? So if you've seen the post that I shared on Facebook about Orlando Brown explaining what Panda is, at the very least in the Hollywood world, the secret messaging of what Panda is, you would know that it's when they beat you up and that there's a nerve in the anal sphincter or in your rectal sphincter, right? Where if they hit that nerve, you could control somebody to do anything that you want, that they want you to do, right? Or you want them to do, right? And so on my way here, when I'm hopping on the bus, right after the dude goes, "I hope you get hit in the head," which I'm gonna touch on that as well. Or he says, "I hope he doesn't get hit in the head," talking to nobody because there's nobody there but me and him, right? Trying to be subliminal. I hop on the bus, just like the same way they do with leaving their subliminal messages on vehicles. I see one vehicle. It's almost like a hearse-shaped vehicle, Panda. Instead of the dog condition, the canines. Then I see the dude drive by with his Panda front plate. You know what I'm saying? But I'm already, like I said, I'm already on game. Right? I've heard this term years ago, back when I first started sharing the Orlando Brown videos, right? And so, like I said, they're trying to send this sub, like, oh, people do it all the time. Oh, you could get kidnapped, you know what I'm saying? They could drop a date rape drug in your drink, and you know what I'm saying? Or you could go to jail, and you know what I'm saying? Some type of rape could happen. You know what I'm saying? This is what they're trying to imply, trying to do an intimidation tactic. Like, yes, you should be afraid. You don't know how bad it can get. I almost went on a shopping spree. Once I heard dude talk about, I hope he doesn't get hit in the head. Now, what does that have to do with Panda, right? So if you know the history, which I've also posted on Facebook, they would hit women in the head, right? In order to get them to submit, if they were reluctant or, if they showed any type of resistance to sexual advances, right? I would imagine the same thing for dudes when they were buck breaking them, right? A way to psychologically enslave them to emasculate the black man during the times of slavery. This is just modern day stuff too now. You feel me? The slavery hasn't gone anywhere. They've just modernized it, sugarcoated it, and then actually expanded it, because it's not even just black people. You hear all the time white people getting sexually abused and molested. White dudes getting sexually molested by their fathers and things like that. Same thing. I screenshot a post about a female on Instagram And these things pop up in my suggestion reels. I don't go looking for them, right? Because they, like I said, they gotta send it to you to keep that passive aggressive subliminal messaging predictive programming thing going with this whole MKUltra thing, right? So this is what's popping up in my reel where the female, she's like, when I something about when she gets all dressed up and her dad looks at her and is like, oh, if I was 20, I wouldn't hold back. You gotta understand. Now I'm gonna say this is the Caucasian race. Yes, the female was Caucasian, right? But in this instance, I'm gonna say, yeah, that was a Caucasian female. A lot of times you hear about inbred people and stuff like the country bumpkins, hillbillies and stuff. You know what I'm saying? They're doing all of this incest stuff and stuff like that. All type. And I actually commented on it. I'm gonna post my comment as well. I was like, see, this is part where a lot of the Me Too movement comes from females, but they do it to males as well. Now in the Orlando Brown video, they're showing you certain celebrities and things like that. This is why I said, in Hollywood and across the media, the big media, where this panda thing takes effect. Where look at what's going on with Diddy. You feel me? All of the homosexual acts and stuff that he was committing with Justin Bieber and all of these other people, all of the scandalous stuff that's coming out, right? They tell you, back in the days, buck breaking. This is why I shared it again. It's a way to emasculate and control. There's so much psychology that goes behind it. And they directed that at me. First off, I say death by the script all the time. And I say that saying that the script is designed for me to die. That's what I mean by death by the script. But what I also what it also means is I'm gonna implement self-defense with extreme prejudice if anybody comes my way. I'm not even gonna try to maim you, none of this. Once I feel the need to defend myself, understand your life is in danger. Once you think you're putting my life in danger, your life is in danger. Because I'm gonna defend myself with extreme prejudice. I will tell it to the cops, I'll tell it to the judge, I'll tell it to everybody, tell it to the PO. We've already done it to most of it. Right? So this whole panda thing, at that point, that's when death about a script has to happen. Because then I'm going on a shopping spree. If you even think about that, you better hold by this, right? But I bring it up, right? Because these are the people around me, all of these witchcraft practitioners, all of these occultists and stuff. They have to do these homosexual acts. Same thing with the females and things like that, right? Where you hear all of these Me Too movements, and then they're all in therapy, right? All of these people doing therapy and all of these things, trying to get over their childhood traumas from all of the panda action that they was going through, right? And I'm gonna say mainly dudes because you can rape a female and she has a vagina, so it doesn't have to be the anal sphincter. But yes, females can be controlled as well via this method, I'm sure, right? And it made me question, right? They're trying to imply that this would happen to me. How many of these gang stalkers have had it happen? You feel me? Who wouldn't comply or conform? How many have had this happen? They say it on Hollywood. You see Orlando Brown talking about it. He's like, oh, I done got kidnapped. You got videos of him tweaking out. Oh, I done got kidnapped in this. Or maybe he wasn't tweaking out. Maybe he was definitely telling the truth. Right? But it's not the first time we've heard this term. So I go, Dad, dude in my room, Terrence, who works here at the Wind Creek, what is he talking about when he's talking about Panda? How he know about that? Is he referencing Orlando Brown as well? That's where I've heard the term from. I knew that they were doing it, but then when the name of the term, the label for it, I heard it from Orlando Brown years ago. And he's talking about, oh, you don't know why I was talking about, you don't know how bad it get, how dark you get. You feel me? He's one of these people who talks to himself. He likes to talk about, how things get dark for him. I don't know his past. Try not to judge him. He going through his thing, right? But then it makes me question because he does do these subliminal things as well, the passive aggressive subliminal things towards me as well as part of this MK Ultra game stalking thing. So I go, what would make someone like him participate in this? He seems to be intelligent or have some air of intelligence when he's not in that mode. So what would, right? I said the same thing about Sven. Come to find out, he's bisexual. He admitted this himself, is what I posted, right? So I go, hmm, Sven is homosexual, has some air of intelligence. Why is he participating? Because he likes to be passive aggressive too. He likes to leave his alarm going off. He'll leave it in the room. That way, it has no choice but to go off every 5 to 10 minutes. I noticed that that's part of his noise pollution campaign as well. But I'm like, huh? Are they controlling him via that method? I know some people, they just need to do a little mental tweak and boom. Use the subliminal messaging through the programming, the predictive programming through the TV and social media, keep you scrolling on TikTok. That's enough to control them. But for the ones that are out of line, or the ones that they feel like, oh, we need to step up the drastic measures, right? Is that what they do to them? Like, right? I shared a post that was like, oh, these guys, the female, it was a female. She's talking about, oh, a lot of these dudes are like battling, their bisexual thoughts and all of these things. I'm like, and I see a lot of it on Instagram. I wasn't on Instagram until like this year. Well, I had it before, but I wasn't logging in. But I've always seen it, and I'm like, what did it? And then they always posted stuff about, oh, dudes being secretly gay. And I'm like, you dating these niggas. So you know this and you dated. So one, a lot of females are down with this. I don't they seem to be gung ho for the emasculation of men. Just not even black men, just men in general. But it makes me wonder. And then a lot of these same females got the whole Me Too movement thing where they might have been molested by a dude at some point in time, or maybe they got turned out by another female. That's a part of the Me